Hey folks, and welcome to another episode of Crit Hit Reviews with your host, Arlian. On today's episode, I'll be talking about the review copy I received of Pixelotto's platforming puzzle adventure, Reventure. Is that redundant? Adventure? Reventure? Anyways, find out if its absolute score of misadventures had kept me hooked until the end, or if I would have rather avoided this venture. This particular tale is of an epic lineage of heroes. Adventurers? Honestly, there's a whole lot of pettiness and casual villainy mixed into the antics you end up getting into, and you're not really given a lot of guidance as to what you should be doing. See, you take the role of a random would-be hero as he and his bloodline figure out a wide array of different ways to try and save the princess from the Dark Lord, slay dragons, or avoid all that noise and just get into trouble. Except, by and large, you're just putting the miss into adventure, and the game's more than happy to provide a plethora of choices for how to get yourself off track or just generally screw the pooch. Want to stab plot vital NPCs? There's an ending for that. Adventuring too hard and you want to stay in bed? There's an ending. Did you happen to AFK for a while? Also an ending. Frankly, there's 100 different ones to discover, all of which are generally pretty funny and which also have a custom introduction as to how the adventure continues on. And that more or less sums up the raison d'etre of the game, to find all the absurd randomness developers managed to squeeze into the narrative. And that's reflected in the gameplay too. See, whilst there's a degree of platforming adventure in how you do things, it ends up being a bit closer to a puzzle game. You spend a large amount of time exploring and just plain trying to figure out how you can screw things up. In fact, whilst a large number of endings are fairly readily discoverable at first, such as finding out just how many ways you can use your sword, read how many people you can stab, things start to get a lot more in-depth as you'll end up finding yourself tasked with discovering the far corners of the map, hidden passages, and even treasures. And there's certainly a puzzle element in the platforming as well, given that whilst there is a fairly diverse array of items that you can pick up, your jump is penalized for every new one you acquire, essentially turning the act of discovering just what is the right combination of things needed to navigate the world at large a conundrum in its own right. Admittedly, this does get simplified a little bit as you progress, as not only do you become more familiar with the world at large and the different manners in which you can navigate the map, you also begin to unlock small changes in the world as a direct ramification of the many endings you unlock. We're talking portals, giant beanstalks, and even potentially murderous chickens, all of which provide some fairly nifty means of moving about the world and plumbing even more of its secrets. What's more, you're not quite on your own when it comes to discerning the particular odds and ends that you need to do. If only because as you're exploring about the world, there's little hint scrolls that you can discover which provide you a clue as to an ending which you've yet to discover. Even better is that as you continue to progress through the game, you'll also unlock both a compass and a map, which allows you to better pinpoint just where you need to be to trigger an ending if you found the adjacent hint, which can be an absolute life and time saver. Well, okay, more of a time saver since odds are you're just going to be dying a lot, but hey, you're at least going to get to be a fashionable corpse, given that a large amount of the endings provide you with custom looks to try out, which can range from being an adorable cat, to a horrible and bisected broken carcass, to a pirate, etc., etc. And even if you do finish all 100 endings there are in the game, and the various puzzles associated with those, there's still a handful of post-game content to go and poke at for the truly diligent. Also, Reventure's music is pretty spiffy. Like, I don't even know really what to say other than that it really made the process of adventuring a lot of fun, and that was generally rewarding to stumble across the music room in the game so I could listen to them at my own leisure. That said, I definitely enjoyed the graphics side of the game. Not only because it was pretty endearing, or the sheer array of silly costumes I could wear, but also due to the love and care provided by the developers. And by that, I mean the fact that you can unlock different graphics modes by stabbing the avatars of the developer in the game. Seriously, just hunt him down and gank him if you want to earn yourself a gross Game Boy style color scheme or some other odds and ends. Okay, so, tying all this together, we're now at the finale, and I am so very glad that I got the opportunity to dive into this game. It's an absolutely weird blast to run through for the sheer hilarity of the stupid things that happen as you explore, to just the weird genius of some of the puzzles and their solutions. There's just so much to do over the course of the game, and I find myself sticking with it to the very end and never regretting a single moment. Reventure's genuinely a critical hit in my book. It's a puzzling adventure that is clever as hell, and which not only kept me busy, but managed to keep me enthralled from start to finish, and also may or not have provoked a few bouts of what can only be described as evil villain laughter as I was doing things. That all said, thanks for tuning in. If you agree, disagree, or just have something to say to me, feel free to comment. And for those interested in more indie reviews, developer interviews, podcasts, or Monday TTRPG content, hit the subscribe button and the bell so you know when there's a new release. There's also a Discord. You can click the link in the banner or the description to become a part of our community, the Crit Hit Cauldron. Lastly, if you'd like to help support the channel, we do have a coffee running now to help supplement funds for a lovely editor Jack, and to make sure we can continue to provide quality content. Again, check the description of the banner for them links. Anywho, I'll catch you on the next episode of Crit Hit. Take care till then, folks.